They would have liked some flash Porsche calipers, but budget dictates that they stick with the standard variety. They have to make up a couple of lines for the brakes, but for the most part, off-the-shelf braided hose is used.
There's loads left to do. I think we're going to try and get all the panels on, so at least they're not knocking about the garage and risk of getting damaged. So it's just sort of finish off those final jobs that we need, you know, a few people to help with.
That's fine. It's flat in position. We can't put the glass in yet. There's a normal electric motor, a small gearbox, driving in here a flexible sort of spiral cable, and this part here is the actual window runner that moves up and down on the track.
Now the boys have the tricky job of electrifying the doors. There's also going to be some gauges fitted just above the windscreen, so threading the loom is taking most of their time.
This one is considerably more complicated than the average Beetle, all the digital dash stuff. The Speedo's got something like 10 cables coming from it just to make the Speedo work.
Hey look, this is the technical stuff, not the bodging spanner monkey work that you've been doing.
Is it? So why are you doing it?
The bugger's been fitted with a new steering column, so this will add to the complexity of fitting the loom.
We're then using the wiring diagrams from two different vehicles, from a Polo and from a Beetle, and trying to integrate them. And I'm quite grateful I haven't actually got to finally finish and commission this, but it's going to be quite a long and tricky job.
With the wings and wheels fitted, the lads have accomplished their goal, and the car finally looks like a Beetle again. It's time for the moment of truth. It's looking good, but for maximum street cred it will have to be lowered considerably.
There's still a lot more weight to go in the vehicle. I mean, it's got to have all its glass in, which is amazingly heavy. Interior, petrol tank, engine, of course.
As Adi kindly just pointed out, once I get in, it'll go down another few inches.
The lads adjust the ride height on the shocks, but there is some confusion over how it's done.
Going up is the wrong way.
Yeah, but isn't going up compressing it? It's compressing the spring, so the spring gets smaller. No.
The shocks are bottoming out, and the car still isn't low enough.
Well, the options are get new front suspension, shocks, springs, etc. that are lower, or do some modifications on what we've got.
But with new shocks and springs costing over £1,000, this is a big problem. But it's one that will have to be addressed after the MOT.
Alright, that'll do.
With the last of the team departing, the boys can reflect on a good day's work, but there's still a long way to go before it will pass an MOT.
For the time we've had, we've got a lot done. I mean, it looks like a car now, rather than just a shell.
The boys now have to work a few late nights to get the car roadworthy. Some jobs, like the tank, just require a clean-up and paint. But these back seats will need to be completely overhauled.
Basically, it's standard Golf GTI back seat, but it's too wide for the Beetle, because the top of the Beetle curves in.
Not surprisingly, these seats cost the lads nothing, and Steve's done this modification on a previous project, so he knows it should work.
It'll take a bit of messing around. I sort of remember how to do most of it. It was about 4 years ago.
After this job is done, the seats will be trimmed in vinyl and made to match these second-hand leather Audi TT seats. They hope to do the whole lot for around 400 quid.
It's going over to Birmingham next week to get a few bits finished off, and then the week after is off for the trimmer.
It's looking like the trip to the Brighton show could be the bug's first decent run-out.
Are you actually bolting anything?
It's the last weekend before the MOT. The lads have made up some aluminium firewall, and the next job is to fit their new modified engine. It only requires 4 bolts to secure it, so it shouldn't take too long. But as with a lot of the jobs on this project, things don't always go to plan.
Okay, right. Nah, it's not going in any further.
Right, can I do my method?
Yeah. What's that?
Kick the Ready?
No, it's just not moving at all.
See, I don't reckon that clutch fits. This could set us back a week.
Rich thinks the wrong clutch has been fitted, so they decide to whip it off and double check.
It is difficult to get on there, isn't it? I'll tell you what it is.
Bit of grease.
The problem doesn't lie with the clutch, so hopefully a bit of grease will do the job. And some more gentle persuasion from Rich.
Yay! Success. That's it. In.
The bug is due to be trailered to the VW specialist in Birmingham in the morning for some final fittings before the MOT. Rich has had to shoot off, so Steve will have to finish the job. As well as the carbs and fuel pipes, he's fitting an extra fan. The engine will be putting out a lot more power, so it needs a bit more cooling than before.
The last bit.
Finally, Steve fits the exhaust. It's a second-hand stock replacement off a standard Beetle, but with modifications to the calipers and wheels, the bug is now far from standard.
It's hitting on the calipers at the back. It's too close to the wheels. Right. Well, basically, the exhaust's too wide. It's too late now that they're doing any grinding. Don't want to annoy the neighbours, and I think I'm going to have to call in a favour, really.
It's looking like another job for the VW specialist, and that MOT checklist is getting longer and longer.
I've not seen him really unless I come out here and help. It's a bit lonely going to bed, sort of like, and then waking up at 2 o'clock in the morning and finding he's not there because he's too busy scratching his head in the garage, cursing at the exhaust or something, so I'd rather give him a hand.
With the MOT a week away and the show a week after that, the boys will need all the help they can get. Next time, the boys get the interior sorted, but it's a race against time to get their bug ready for the MOT.
He shouldn't have left me in charge.
Will they even make it to the last big show of the summer?
The Crisis continues next Tuesday at 9 on Discovery Real Time, and there's something similar along the camper van lines in just a couple of minutes.